Hunt.
K2 News, the difference is local.
On World News tonight, the immense power of Hurricane Katrina, slamming into the Gulf Coast with a wall of water 20 feet high. There is massive damage and massive flooding. In New Orleans, entire neighborhoods are underwater, but the levees held. The nightmare scenario of an entire city underwater did not happen. The hurricane has shut down the country's largest port, however. Tonight, a closer look at the global impact on prices for everything from gas to grain. And the storm is not over.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight. Reporting from ABC News headquarters, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. Katrina was bad, very bad. The pictures of New Orleans show the city battered and buffered today, building damage, water in the streets. But Katrina did jog slightly east just before hitting land, and that spared New Orleans, a city actually below sea level, the kind of direct hit that residents have worried about and feared for years. Still, the city took a real body blow. For a time this morning, there was concern winds might rip the roof right off the Superdome. That slight turn in the storm's path meant that the Mississippi Gulf and Alabama were hit harder than had been expected. A storm surge with a 20-foot wall of water did huge damage to the Mississippi coast. Winds gusted along the shoreline up to 145 miles per hour. Tonight, a major disaster area has been declared in Louisiana and Mississippi. Damage estimates, very preliminary, are in the range of $20 billion. And the governor of Mississippi said that his greatest fear is that there are a lot of dead people out there. We have reporters up and down the Gulf Coast, and we'll devote almost our entire broadcast to Hurricane Katrina, starting with ABC's Jeffrey Kaufman in New Orleans.
The winds whipped, the rains lashed. For 8 hours, New Orleans was under assault.
I couldn't sleep. I mean, you sleep for a second, then the wind ramps up, and you wake up again, and you hear noises out there, sheet metal blowing off across the street.
From the skies, Hurricane Katrina took aim at anything that wasn't anchored to the ground. In every direction, windows popped from tall buildings, leaving curtains fluttering in the wind. Older buildings crumbled, destroying whatever sat below. And from the sides, the furious waters of Lake Pontchartrain tried to breach the levees that protect this city that sits below sea level. In at least one area, the industrial canal that connects to the Mississippi, the waters overflowed, cascading into the streets. But mostly, the levees held. It was simply the volume of rain that left many areas underwater. Even outside the levees, neighborhoods were submerged, cars abandoned. For some who tried to brave the storm, it proved perilous.
No question, Hurricane Katrina has given New Orleans a terrible thrashing, and it is going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to put the city back together again. But that said, this was not the apocalyptic hurricane that so many had feared.
By afternoon, some who had defied evacuation orders braved the wet and windy streets to assess the damage.
I thought it would be more damage, more flooding and all, and very lucky, I'd say, right now.
Because the eye of Katrina veered east, New Orleans avoided a direct hit, but it was still hit hard. Louisiana Governor Kathleen Blanco went on television this afternoon warning those who fled the city to stay away.
There is no power, there's no food supply, there's no water supply for additional people.
Now that Katrina has left, the city that was so quickly abandoned sits vulnerable again.
What were those guys doing?
It was looting.
As night falls, the looting becomes a bigger concern. Officials say they do not yet know how long it will take to restore power or to restore the city.
What's it like to see your city go through this?
Breaks your heart, but it'll come back, it'll recover.
ABC's Jeffrey Kaufman reporting from New Orleans. 10,000 people in New Orleans, those who couldn't afford to leave or didn't want to, took shelter in that city's Superdome. And for a time this morning, they had good reason to believe the storm would tear the top right off the stadium. ABC's David Muir, who was inside, reported it sounded like a tin can being ripped open by a can opener. You could see light coming right through the holes in the roof. Rain was pouring in. Those inside had to find dry areas under second deck seats. The roof did hold, but not before scaring everyone inside. If people in Louisiana are saying it was bad, but it could have been worse, you won't hear that in Mississippi. Most of the Mississippi coast also lies below sea level, which made the wall of water that slammed ashore there all the more destructive. State authorities are going to be in rescue mode long into this night. This is the worst storm to hit Mississippi in over 35 years. ABC's David Curley is in Biloxi. David?
Charlie, the full fury and power of Katrina was felt right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The high winds gusting well over 100 miles an hour pounded this area all day and pushed 20 feet of water deep into the coastline. Quite the surge here. The flooding here in Biloxi and in Gulfport is serious and substantial. In fact, in Gulfport, it's reported that the floodwaters are 10 feet high, and the fire chief says that 75% of the buildings there sustained roof damage. While Katrina's winds ripped off the facade of a motel and down trees, it is the water that Mississippi residents will likely mention when they talk about this hurricane. Major roadways were swamped. Surveying the flooding in the middle of the storm, we found 3 young Mississippians shivering cold, crouched under an interstate overpass. They got caught in the floodwaters and had been forced to swim to higher ground.
Probably 2.5, 3 hours we were surviving under the bridge. We swam about probably a half mile and floated on ice chests to get there.
I have a new respect for Mother Nature. Katrina definitely taught me that lesson.
There are reports some residents had to move to the attic, others to the roofs as the water kept coming. The governor was stunned by the damage to his state.
The storm surge has been much bigger than anything ever before. The result has been, in some cases, people being trapped in their homes.
As the governor was speaking, Katrina continued to howl. It's early afternoon. The eye has passed Biloxi, but you can see there's a lot of flooding here, and it's just starting. The surge back here is a little bit even worse. In fact, we were trying to get to some of the flooding up here. We were on an overpass of the interstate, and as we were sitting still, we got hit with a piece of debris, took out the window in our vehicle. Still debris coming. Those in evacuation centers and local hotels suffered the agony of not knowing what Katrina had done to their home.
I'm really afraid to go out there to see what possibly is left or what's not there anymore.
Charlie, you can see that it is still windy here, and as you see damage like this to this hotel and elsewhere, the debris is 4 feet high in some areas, and 375,000 people in Mississippi without electricity. That could last for several days. Search and rescue crews have only been able to get out in the last couple of hours as the winds and rain finally diminished. They'll be working all night trying to get to those who have been stranded by Katrina. Charlie?
David Curley reporting on the damage in Mississippi. All along the Gulf Coast today, there were scenes that demonstrate the sheer power of the storm, in many cases more vividly than words. In Mobile, Alabama today, ABC's Steve Osunsami has seen a number of them.
Charlie, Mobile and other communities that were on this side of the eye wall suffered through what locals describe as the dirty part of the storm. As Katrina churned in the Gulf, it created walls of water that pushed against the shoreline.
At Bayshore Bridge in downtown Mobile, police called to the scene could not believe their eyes.
Oil platform is broken loose and hit the top of the bridge.
The storm surge into Mobile Bay was strong enough to dislodge an oil platform that weighs 35,000 tons and was in for repairs. The high winds took it from there, pushing it upstream, where the rig crashed into and then through the bridge.
Can you tell us what your assessment is?
My assessment is just what you see right there. Oil rig has struck the bridge.
This same storm surge flooded parts of Pensacola, Panama City, and Mobile.
At 8:30 a.m., downtown Mobile already closed, under a foot of water. Several hours later, and I can't even get to that point, Water Street, now a few blocks away, is the city's newest river.
Mobile is now mostly dark. The storm has knocked out power to more than 180,000 residents. Rooftops litter the streets. Downed trees are blocking roads. The National Weather Service estimates the wall of water that hit Mobile Bay was at least 11 feet high. as high as 27 feet in other places.
Lunch is now being served in the cafeteria.
In Mobile, nearly 200,000 residents will spend the night in makeshift shelters.
This is something real powerful, you know, the rain, hurricane, the wind blowing.
This morning, authorities opened up LaFleur High School to residents whose homes were flooded.
We just got 2 busloads of people coming in from Orange Grove because they're flooded out.
The shelter filled up immediately.
When many of these residents return home, they'll meet a significant amount of wind damage. Across town, we found many incidents of tree versus home where the tree won. Charlie.
Steve Osunsami in Alabama. The Red Cross, by the way, says this is the largest mobilization for a single natural disaster in its history. 250,000 meals stockpiled for people in New Orleans. In Alabama, emergency workers gathered 600,000 meals and 250,000 gallons of bottled water. Getting help to those most in need, still a huge challenge. When we come back, a hurricane in the heart of oil country, refineries and oil platforms offline. The country's largest port shut down. It may not be raining where you are, but Katrina's economic reach will be felt far and wide. We'll take a closer look. And in the path of the storm, riding the back roads, assessing the damage.
This is World News Tonight, brought to you by Kia Motors.
The Kia Amante. Rich leather, 9-speaker CD sound system, power everything. Spacious and comfortable. With 8 standard airbags and all backed by a 10-year warranty program. The Kia Amante Premium Sedan. It's time for everyone to start living big.
We look out for each other. We do it without thinking, without reward. It's what we do. And that's why there's more help coming from Medicare. New prescription drug coverage. With it, everyone who is eligible for Medicare can be covered for the prescriptions they need to stay healthy. But all of us should learn more about it because choices must be made. And we can help each other because that's what we do.
Hello, my darling. Your last blossom beckons. I am so congested. If only my medicine could treat and help prevent these seasonal nasal allergy symptoms.
Only Nasonex is clinically proven to both treat and help prevent most seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, including congestion. Only Nasonex. Side effects were generally mild and included headache, viral infection, sore throat, nosebleeds, and coughing.
I have returned my flower, a changed bee.
For seasonal nasal allergy symptoms, Nasonex is the one to treat and help prevent congestion. Talk to your doctor.
It's frustrating. Just when you're ready to relax, that's when it happens. The urge to move, along with uncomfortable sensations in your legs. They're hard to describe, but they can even keep you from getting to sleep. You feel the urgent need to get up and move, just to get some relief. There's a name for it, restless leg syndrome. And if you have it, you're among the nearly 1 in 10 U.S. adults who do. Want to know more? Visit restlesslegs.com or talk to your doctor.
Pledge Multi-Surface Clean and Dust. Pledge beauty for wood and beyond.
For years, I have used Pledge on my wood surfaces. I can use Pledge Multi-Surface on a lot of different surfaces. General household cleaning products are not appropriate for wood. Look for Pledge. They're the perfect people to come up with this.
Arthritis sufferers have had enough bad news lately. Here's some good news. Aleve is the #1 pharmacist-recommended pain reliever for arthritis for the 6th year in a row. Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
We are going to take a closer look at the very profound impact that Hurricane Katrina is leaving on the nation's economy, everything from gasoline to grain. The Gulf Coast, and New Orleans in particular, is an economic hub for the nation. When energy companies rushed to shut down refineries and offshore drilling platforms, the price of oil shot up. When the port of New Orleans shut down, a number of other commodities, ones that you might not expect, were affected. We begin our closer look with ABC's Dan Harris.
The Gulf of Mexico, so churned up by Hurricane Katrina today, is home to about 4,000 oil rigs, which account for about a quarter of the nation's oil production. Also in the Gulf, the one place in the U.S. where the largest oil supertankers can unload. a port where more than half of our oil imports come in. And along the Louisiana coast, also in Katrina's path, dozens of refineries which turn all that oil into gas. In short, the area hit hardest by Katrina is the country's most important oil center. And at a time of record gas prices, the storm has largely shut it down. Which means that even if you're not seeing wind and rain today, Katrina may well bite you at the pump.
In the very short run, I suspect you're going to see probably about a 10 to 15 cent a gallon increase over the next few days in gasoline prices.
Over Labor Day, if you're taking a road trip in an SUV, it's going to be an expensive proposition.
How long the storm's effects continue at the pump will depend on the extent of the damage, which will take at least a day to assess. Uncertainty that roiled oil markets today. After Hurricane Ivan rumbled through last year, it took more than 6 months to repair damaged platforms and pipeline. Higher oil and gas prices are already starting to hurt the economy. If, in fact, Katrina does extensive damage to the oil infrastructure in the Gulf, it may well make matters worse. Which is why the president is now considering opening the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which could ease the supply crunch. It might not be the last time he's confronted with such a choice. Hurricane season is only half over. Dan Harris, ABC News, New York.
As we said, the port of southern Louisiana is the largest port in the U.S., 5th largest in the world, an absolutely crucial artery for the flow of American goods to global markets. ABC's Ned Potter continues now with our closer look at the impact of Katrina on other parts of the economy.
If you live, say, in Illinois and you're buying a car, there's a good chance the steel for it came through the port of southern Louisiana. If you're a farmer in Iowa, chances are much of the grain you grow will be sent by barge down the Mississippi, right through Katrina's path. Look at a map, and as we pull out, you can see how Louisiana matters. It's not just oil imports. 1/4 of everything America exports passes right through the disaster zone.
Little appreciated the fact that New Orleans is one of the most strategic cities in the United States.
Tonight, economists worry that shifting silt may have blocked the river, or that grain elevators may have been damaged.
You could wind up with some serious grain shortages around the world where U.S. farmers can't get to market. Doesn't mean it's happening, we just don't know. But that is the #1 threat, not oil.
Damage estimates this afternoon range from $10 to $25 billion, and historically, insurance only covers about 3/4 of that. On commodity exchanges, nervous traders drove prices up on everything from beef to soybeans.
Exports, imports, a lot of that occurs through the Louisiana ports. If that's disrupted for any significant period of time, then that's going to disrupt the entire U.S. economy.
What's more, nobody knows how long it might take to get commerce back to normal. It could be hours, or it could take weeks, just as the fall harvest begins. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
And you can find more on Katrina's impact and track its progress, because it is still a major storm moving through the southeastern United States, all at abcnews.com. When we return, new tension and uncertainty over Iraq's future, and strengthening the medical case for men to get off their duffs.
$30,000. Do I hear 40? $40,000. Do I hear 50? 50,000. I have 50,000 sold to the gentleman in the center.
Hi.
Moving on. This is a 19.
Okay, I want to go ahead and sell it now.
Sell what?
That thing I bought.
Constantly buying and selling stocks doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones advises clients to buy long-term investments. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Ranked highest in investor satisfaction with full-service brokerage firms by J.D. Power and Associates.
For people with diabetes, eating right and controlling weight is essential and hard to do. Glucerna as a delicious meal or snack helps control blood sugar. And with a little exercise, it may help you lose weight. Glucerna, it's time for a taste of freedom.
Pledge Multi-Surface Clean and Dust. Pledge beauty for wood and beyond.
For years, I have used Pledge on my wood surfaces. I can use Pledge Multi-Surface on a lot of different surfaces. General household cleaning products are not appropriate for wood. Look for Pledge. They're the perfect people to come up with this.
Me? I'm a problem solver. One problem I thought I'd solved? My acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn. But when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus. And one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium. Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Ask your doctor about Nexium, the healing purple pill.
If you have indoor or outdoor allergies, ask your doctor about something different, Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. And Singulair is now approved to help relieve both indoor and outdoor allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat indoor and outdoor allergies.
Another new drink. Ingredients: inositol, maltodextrin, glucuronolactone, or Florida orange juice. Fresh air, rain, sunshine.
Florida orange juice. Healthy, pure, and simple.
Tomorrow, the latest on Hurricane Katrina. The massive flooding, the huge losses. How far will its impact be felt? Plus, getting kids to class with cash and gifts. Don't miss our series School's Back on Good Morning America and World News Tonight tomorrow.
Ethnic tensions flared in Iraq today, a day after the publication of a new draft constitution. Thousands of Sunni Muslims rallied in Tikrit, Saddam Hussein's hometown. Some Sunnis object to a provision outlawing Saddam's Ba'ath political party. Sunni leaders are urging a no vote in the October referendum on the Constitution, and there are enough Sunnis to potentially swing the vote. An update now on the controversy caused by the televangelist Pat Robertson, who called for the president of Venezuela to be assassinated. The president of that country, Hugo Chavez, says he might seek extradition for Reverend Robertson and went on to call him, quote, crazy. The Venezuelans say they might even go to the United Nations with this. They also say they're thinking about suing Robertson. Not exactly sure for what. The American Heart Association today released what some doctors say is the most definitive study yet, showing that men who exercise regularly can protect their heart and lengthen their life. More than 11,000 men between the ages of 20 and 79 were studied for almost 20 years. And those who did a half hour of exercise 4 or 5 times a week were 50% less likely to die from cardiovascular disease, regardless of their cholesterol levels or other factors. When we come back, again, Hurricane Katrina, traveling through hurricane country on the back roads.
So, Doc, let's see what you can do for this poor seasonal allergy sufferer.
You're really miserable.
I've tried these. They only last about 6 hours. And all of these make me drowsy.
I think this will help.
Allegra 180, long-lasting and non-drowsy.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness, but Allegra 180 can.
Allegra lasts the whole day and night.
For people 12 and over, side effects are low and may include headache, cold, or backache.
I'll take Allegra any day.
Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
The human body was designed to move, so now Serenity gently hugs your body for a closer fit than the leading protective underwear. New Serenity Discreet Activewear. You move, they move. You're protected. Serenity from Tena.
With my high blood pressure and cholesterol, I'm at a higher risk for a heart attack, so I exercise.
He could do more. His doctor said he should take Bayer. It can prevent 1 in 3 heart attacks. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Do more. Bayer.
In the future, everyone will protect their eyes from sun damage like they protect their skin. Transitions lenses. They automatically adjust to changing light and block harmful UV rays and glare. So don't wait until tomorrow. The danger is here today, and so is the protection. Ask your eye care professional about Transitions lenses. Transitions. Healthy sight in every light.
Cholesterol comes from 2 sources. It's not only from that footlong Frank, but from your Grandpa Frank. And not just from that Virginia ham, but from your Aunt Ginny, too. Your cholesterol doesn't just come from food. It also has a lot to do with family history. Ask your doctor about Vytorin. A healthy diet is important, but when it's not enough, adding Vytorin can help. Vytorin treats the 2 sources of cholesterol, food, and what your body makes naturally based on family history. Vytorin was proven in clinical studies to lower bad cholesterol more than Lipitor alone. Vytorin is not for everyone, including people with liver problems, women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Unexplained muscle pain or weakness could be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. Vytorin may interact with other medicines or certain foods, increasing your risk of getting this serious side effect. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Follow a healthy diet and ask your doctor about adding Vytorin. For the two sources of cholesterol, remember the name Vytorin. That's Vytorin.
So, Doc, let's see what you can do for this poor seasonal allergy sufferer.
You're really miserable.
I've tried these. They only last about 6 hours. And all of these make me drowsy.
I think this will help.
Allegra 180, long-lasting and non-drowsy.
Not one of these allergy medicines can give you long-lasting seasonal allergy relief without the risk of drowsiness, but Allegra 180 can.
Allegra lasts the whole day and night.
For people 12 and over, side effects alone may include headache, cold, or backache.
I'll take Allegra any day.
Long-lasting Allegra. The relief goes on.
I'm Steve Dunn. Next at a special 4:30 news. Coming up, we'll have this story. This local mother is the first in the state going to prison for breastfeeding. The two exclusive coming up next.
A quick update on where Katrina is now. The storm is moving in a northeasterly direction toward Tennessee, Kentucky, and Ohio. The storm still packs a punch, but forecasters expect to downgrade it to a tropical storm this evening. And finally tonight, living through the storm. Millions of people did. Each has a story of how they were hit, what they did, and how frightened they may have been. Stories they'll still be telling years from now. We asked ABC's Terry Moran to drive some of the back roads as the storm raged and visit the smaller towns others may have passed by or couldn't get to.
In the small towns and down the back roads of the Gulf Coast, Katrina wreaked a special kind of havoc. This morning we headed east from Baton Rouge into the path of the storm along Louisiana State Highway 190. In Walker, a small businesswoman looked at the wreckage that was once her livelihood.
I come to check on my store this morning and it just started falling apart.
But at the Po' Boy restaurant in Livingston, the owner, an immigrant from Turkey, sensed an opportunity. He stayed open through the storm.
I love my job and I want to give the people food.
Farther east, Katrina shut down everything.
One of the things you realize driving through these rural areas is not just how devastating, but how paralyzing a major hurricane can be. These are places with very few resources, very few roads. So when a tree goes down in one of these towns, the whole place stops.
And for many families living here in the isolated community of Albany, the fury of the storm was terrifying.
We grabbed the kids, threw them in, got in the van, and we took off.
They were inside with the children when the tree crashed into their home. At Hammond, police shut down this road.
We got power lines down, we got trees down, and just about every access in and out of town is closed.
Everywhere out here, there is so much work to be done. Terry Moran, ABC News, along Louisiana State Highway 190.
The big storm of '05. That is World News Tonight for this Monday. ABC News will have continuing coverage of the hurricane, a full report later this evening on Nightline, and the latest on what happened overnight tomorrow on Good Morning America. I'm Charles Gibson. For all of us at ABC News, good night.
Football preseason special, Rams versus Lions. Tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC.
Next on K2 News. At 145 miles an hour, Katrina hammers the Gulf Coast, flooding homes, streets, and leaving thousands stranded. Even though we're nowhere near the storm, see why you'll still be paying for it at the pump.
Plus, a follow-up on this too exclusive, why this local mother is now going to prison for breastfeeding.
The controversial new crackdown on moms on meth and getting their babies hooked too.
And it's cracked, narrow, and crowded. Why the $7 million we got to fix the Selwood Bridge is hardly enough to even start that project.
And flash flood warnings are issued for the greater Portland metropolitan area. What that means for you tonight.
This is the spirit of the Northwest.
Almost everybody's about to feel Hurricane Katrina's pain across the Gulf Coast. Fierce winds and blinding rain damaged thousands of homes.
Huge success, and now we have too many pre-owned vehicles on our lot. So if you're looking for savings, it's a great time to visit Emmert Motors. We're Oregon's #1 GM certified used vehicle dealer. Emmert Motors in St. Helens.